These are the last words a narcissist often says before they die. Have you ever wondered what goes through a narcissist's mind when they realize their facade is crumbling? Today, we're diving into this intense topic, the final words of a narcissist. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into human behavior. If you find this discussion intriguing, give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let's get started. We're exploring the concept of dimming the monster, a deep dive into how narcissists ultimately fail. Understanding this is crucial, especially if you're not familiar with narcissistic traits or personality disorders. What does an egotistical breakdown really look like? Stick around as we unpack this and reveal how proximity to a narcissist can trap you in a toxic cycle. Navigating a relationship with a narcissist is like untangling a mess of wires, complex and frustrating. But understanding these dynamics can save you a lot of pain, especially if you're dealing with a narcissistic family member, partner, or friend. We'll provide insights on how to handle these situations and avoid getting caught up in their chaos. Let's bring this important issue to light and empower ourselves with knowledge. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Let's delve into the depths of narcissistic breakdowns now. They surface in diverse manners, persist for disparate durations, and strike with divergent intensities. Fundamentally, it's when the egocentric facade fails to live up to its grandiose claims. Personally, I make no apologies for acknowledging the spiritual facets, even the darker realms some individuals surrender to. On occasion, it seems as though the self is scarcely capable of keeping pace. Its objectives remain unfulfilled, and everything appears poised to fall apart simultaneously. No longer able to leech vitality from others, the ego wears itself out. Their accomplice, who is most likely also weary, can no longer keep step. Occupation descends into disarray, and fiscal troubles worsen. In brief, life hurls them curves, and it proves challenging for them to cope. Consider this imagery. Narcissists excel at masking their shame, no matter the severity of their circumstances. Regardless of how poorly things fare for them, they'll uphold a veneer of calm and pretend all is well. Why? Because they wish others to covet them. Yet, when obstacles mount and life tosses numerous curves, they reach an impasse. During those eras, they potentially surrender to their vices, seeking solace in an artificial world where they remain in control. It is no sound approach to evade reality. I recall that fateful meeting clearly, the moment that changed my perspective forever. Allow me to share what transpired. A colleague, we'll call them John, had risen rapidly through the ranks with their charismatic personality and ambitious drive. While their talents were undeniable, rumors of volatile behavior and subtle deception began to circulate. At first I paid them no mind, but over time a troubling pattern emerged. It was no secret that John eagerly anticipated a substantial promotion. When it was awarded to another, the fallout was swift and spectacular. Gone was the polished veneer, replaced by a shell of the person within. Dark circles framed eyes swollen from nights spent ruminating on slights rather than celebrating the gifts they possessed. Tasks went undone, deadlines slipped away unnoticed. Once a dynamo, now but an echo of past greatness. Most shocking of all was the request for help. The mighty brought low, humbled by truths too painful to acknowledge. While pride may prevent words of failure from ever passing lips, the soul knows its condition and seeks solace anywhere it can be found. In our weakest moments, we reinvent ourselves as victims to draw from others the comfort denied to us, resuming facades that mask realities too harsh to behold. And so the journey begins anew. It can be an immense challenge to maintain a bond with someone so self-centered, whether as a companion, close acquaintance, or kin. Suddenly, their once towering self-importance appears to have been calmed, exposing a fragile, nearly infantile aspect. You gain hints of who they truly are, the individual they could have evolved into, and the persona they now don. Some may be tempted to think they've evolved. However, we must not be deceived. This brief showing is just a fracture in the facade that permits you to see a bit of their authentic self. Even if it seems genuine, it's still just a small piece of the reality. Do not be mistaken. The ego may be tamed for a time, but it's perpetually there, ready to expose its ugly head again. Do not be fooled. Stay alert, recognizing that this is merely a short respite from the demon's command. Glimpsing another's fleeting frailty feels heart-rending. Their beseeching brings bittersweetness, for compassion compels aid. Yet tangled in this goodwill grows guile, as generosity fosters greed within. Each kindness kindles conceit. See, I am not so vile, while failing to fulfill fantasies feeds fury towards the font. Blame is laid, the fault found outside, as pride propels renewed wrath. No weakness proved profound, just passing poses peeled away, narcissism's nature now nakedly displayed. In offering help we leave ourselves exposed once more to new wounds. Beneath momentary cracks and vanity's veneer lurks the truer heart, choosing self above all else, defining who they really are. We often observe others go through trying times unaware of how to properly assist them. It serves as a reminder that compassion alone changes little. What truly aids is steady support without enabling destructive patterns. Do not become entangled in another's turmoil. Instead, see it for what it is, a fleeting struggle like a glimpse behind a facade. This brief stumble reveals not of genuine transformation, only a search for relief from past mistakes. Beware granting it at the cost of future harm. True change arises from within, not without. Temporary weakness alters not habitual ways so easily discarded come comfort. Excuses, deflections and deceptions swiftly reappear should distress fade. Only by exiting this cycle can health and well-being be secured. Difficult as it is, trust not that transient frailty signifies different days ahead. The story remains the same until both tell and follow a new tale. Clinging to past hopes leaves one prisoner to toxic routine. Rise above past hurts and make your own path. Settle for nothing less than freedom and peace of mind. Imagine witnessing the consequences of a lifelong narcissist's actions catching up to them. Past misdeeds that were long buried surface, health deteriorates, finances dwindle, relationships wither, and the carefully crafted facade crumbles at the seams. This descent is jarring. Consider all their efforts and resources invested into a single disastrous plan reduced to ruin. Penniless, solitary, perhaps without shelter, rock bottom is reached as new hardships hammer away. Should old habits re-emerge in weakness, humiliation may drive them to familial protection. In rare moments of vulnerability, their depleted state appears, lost, afflicted, and rudderless. Well-wishers rush still to offer aid, interpreting overtures as a pleading for absolution. Proceeding through such a nadir holds peril. A glint of hope emerges, reasoning surely now mistakes will be acknowledged and betterment sought. Caring compels the natural want to restore, yet lasting change remains dubious without counseling or miraculous intervention. Deeply ingrained, their intrinsic nature consistently steers conduct, though briefly masking may occur. Ultimately, long-practiced patterns will likely resurface, despite any transient reformatting. Like observing a mangrove sprout from seed in the sea, lasting change takes root gradually. expecting immediate transformation is as improbable as a feline's bark or ungulate characteristics in a lion. Transformation of such a monumental magnitude requires persistence through setbacks. Though motivated by fleeting empathy, even insincere repentance merits encouragement toward rehabilitation. However, be wary assuming reform of habitual narcissism. Sustainable change stems from internalized conviction, rarely ephemeral whims. While anecdotes recount turnarounds, most recidivate unchanged. Though hoping supports recovery, prudence outweighs presumption. Pessimism prepares for potential disappointment without forsaking prospect of growth. Pay close heed. A narcissist often trudges through a protracted time of dismay, perhaps 6 months to a year, before hitting bedrock. Throughout this time frame, they grow increasingly engrossed in themselves in a bizarre manner. Rather than contemplating how to better things or hunting for work, they scout for hasty fixes or facile routes out of their situation. There are many examples of narcissists marrying to procure money or duping their parents into providing money as a quick fix. When their pride starts to manifest again, you can discern they are starting to repeat old behaviors. What precisely are these antiquated habits? Prevarications, trickery, and forcing their way through life to obtain what they want. Their needs always come first. It's eternally about them. When someone undergoes a selfish breakdown, one of two things commonly occurs. Primarily, there are the mini-crises, which are transient periods when the narcissist's behavior grows out of hand. Individuals nearby necessitate being highly prudent, not to become ensnared in their theatrical performances. The narcissist then endures a major collapse, during which they become deeply dejected and scout for any manner in which they can escape. But there's a snag. The ultimate breakdown does happen sometimes. This is when the narcissist feels entirely helpless, but may not beseech for help because their pride is injured. Regrettably, terminating relationships is the sole route for some narcissists to better themselves. Let us delve deeper into karma and how it connects to the fate of narcissists. According to the principles of karma, our deeds impact others, and those caring only for themselves eventually face consequences. Some narcissists perform good acts to boost their egos, not from genuine care. However, when misfortune strikes, this initiates their downfall. Rather than owning their actions, they spend others' time and energy absolving blame. This perpetuates a never-ending cycle. If helping a struggling narcissist, do so cautiously while avoiding manipulation. You cannot change their nature, only they can. Remain resilient against control attempts and leave promptly if needed, seeking aid. Moreover, refrain from labeling them the villain, as not all aim to harm you. Many provide unconditional love and acceptance. That concludes our discussion for now. However, I remain available should you wish to further explore stories or topics we touched on. Until then.